Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Jalen Powers and today I'm going to be showing you how to draw the body using the George Bridgman method. Most artists make anatomy a lot harder than it needs to be. You know, we look at the human body and we think bones, muscles, what are the names of these muscles, and you try to get it all in one package. George Bridgman approached drawing the figure very differently. He broke the body down into simple shapes, just very large masses, to make things a lot more simple for anybody that didn't really understand how to draw a body. And I'm going to show you, once you understand how to draw these simple shapes, drawing the human body is so much easier. Okay, but before we draw anything, I want you to understand something about Bridgman's work. If you've ever opened one of his books, some of the drawings look crazy. They actually do. They're exaggerated, they're rough sketches. Sometimes, honestly, the figures don't even look human. The key takeaway from this is Bridgman wasn't trying to give you pretty drawings to copy. That wasn't the point. The point he was trying to show you is how the body is actually constructed. He looked at drawing like sculpting. Before a sculptor gets to the tiny details of their project, they establish all the major masses first. And that's what we're going to do here today. Okay, to start things off, we're going to need these three major shapes here. And these three shapes are what I like to call the major masses of the body. So we'll have one block for the head, one block for the rib cage, and one block for the pelvis. And what these are the foundations of the body. You can't have a human body without these shapes here. Okay, now that we have this foundation here, we can start to take this to the next level. This is where things start to get a little interesting. Instead of stacking them right on top of each other, what you can do is you can start to take these blocks and turn them in space, in the space of your page. And what this will do, this will start to bring your character to life. It'll start to give the pose more energy. By tilting and manipulating these shapes to turn in certain directions, you now have poses with a lot more life to them. So let's add a little bit of shading here. As you can see, this has a lot more energy than this here, but we're still using these three simple shapes for our foundation. One of the key takeaways that you can take from George Bridgman's work is the idea of opposition. The body isn't a mannequin where everything points in the same direction all at the same time. If a shoulder rises here, then you might see the hip fall here. It's all about balance. In movement, we tend to compensate. If one of the sides of our body rises, the other one will fall. If this side is more stretched, then this side will become more relaxed. These shapes are constantly changing their relationship to each other. And we're not just drawing boxes here. What we're actually doing is learning how to control the body in space when you're drawing it on your page. And what I want you to do is, I want you to try drawing a few of these box figures. Don't worry about the muscles just yet. Just worry about these three major masses and turning these shapes in space to see what kind of poses you get. So now that we understand the three major masses, the next thing that we'll be doing is taking these masses and connecting them. And no, we're not getting into muscles just yet. I know you guys are probably eager to draw your comic book characters or your own characters that you might have came up with. But understanding these foundations are so important. And without them, it makes life a lot harder when it comes to drawing. You know, you start with the basics first and then you can work your way up. But for right now, we have our 3 major masses, like so. And right in between the pelvis and the rib cage here, this is where we're going to connect these masses. This would be where your abdomen sits and your abdominal muscles. So let's just draw some legs in here. Right. And right here is where they would connect. Right. Now, one thing I do want you to notice is how this side right here is stretched. So it kind of takes on this shape, but this side, because it is compressed right here, then you have a lot more creases and folds. If you make sure that you're communicating the stretch and the squash effect, then it'll make your characters seem a lot more lively and a lot more realistic as well. Okay, we have our 3 major masses. Now we can start adding limbs to the body, so the arms and the legs. But one thing I want you to notice here is that these limbs are also very basic shapes. So for the arm here, you're just going to break it down into a few blocks. So this first block here would count for the bicep and the tricep. And then the second block is going to be for the forearm. And then we're going to have one more blockish cylinder shape for the rest of the forearm. So when you shade this, we're turning this into planes. Instead of cylinder shapes, we're going to turn this into planes so you can see the construction of these shapes. So once you're able to see these shapes within the arm, you'll be able to distinct what goes where when it comes to your muscles. Even if you don't know the names of all of them, you'll still be familiar with the construction of them, and that's a lot more than what most understand. With the basic understanding of the structure of anything, you can draw it. If you're able to see the shapes that make it up, then you'll have no problem actually drawing these subjects. And we'll just add a little bit of the hand there. And you can see, still broken down the same way, but now we have a lot more of an arm structure based off of the same shapes here. So as we go to add the arm to our figure here with these shapes in mind, it'll be so much simpler. So there we have that first block there for the bicep, and the chest will kind of creep over the bicep there. But we have our first block there. Right. And then we'll add in our second block. And here you can start to throw in a little more of your anatomy understanding. And that is something that I'll go over in a later lesson, just how to draw anatomy and how to understand what you're drawing while you're drawing it. Because there's so many muscles, and I feel like it's very easy, very easy to get lost in all of that. And this is like our second block right here, and then that last block. And this is in the Bridgman style. He was very unorthodox with his anatomy, but he really wanted to show you the construction of it. So that's what we're basing these limbs and bodies off of. So if it doesn't look entirely anatomically correct, then that would be the reason why. And we'll just throw in a little hand here, little fist situation. Alright. So there we have it. And just like that, you're adding limbs to these three major masses, and now you have more of a body. And we can do this other arm as well. Same scenario, it'll be from a different angle. So you won't see, since this arm is in the foreground here, and it's a lot closer to you, you would see more of it. And this arm is kind of tucked behind the torso here. So you wouldn't be able to see as much of this arm. But the same rules apply. You have your first block here. And your second block. So just cut that off right there. And then we have that third block. That's going to be the ending of the forearm. All right. Now we'll just a little more detail for the hand here. Right. And just a little bit of shading. Okay, so now you have two arms connected to this torso here. And from here was arms without legs, right? So let me show you how to do legs as well. Okay, quick pause. If you're serious about improving your art and you want more than just random YouTube tutorials, I created an art community where we actually train this stuff step by step. Inside, you'll get structured lessons on anatomy, gesture, figure drawing, character design, and much more, plus a community of artists that are working towards the same goal. So if you want to stop guessing on what to practice and actually have a system to follow, hit the link in the description down below and come train with us. Alright, back to Bridgman. So this block here will represent the pelvis. And when it comes to legs, they're very similar. We're just gonna find the construction of them. So have this kind of rectangular kind of shape here. Maybe even a hexagonal shape would be more accurate. But you have your first block here, and then the second block will stand for the knee. And then and similar to the forearm, we'll have a two-section area for the calf. So we'll have that top section, and this will be for the meatier part of the calf, and then you have the shin area here. And then we can just use a triangle type of shape for the foot. Alright, so with this understanding here of these shapes, you can go in and start to sculpt out the leg muscles. So we got the inner quad right here. And of course, it's not all just blocks, right? You eventually want to have a good understanding of anatomy and how that translates on paper. We got the knee here. So we have this block translates to the quad. And we'd have the hip right here. And then we have this block here, and that would be the calf. You can see just how understanding these basic shapes can really turn your life around when it comes to drawing. And we'll just add the foot in right here. Same thing. All right. Just do a little bit of shading. Just so you can still see these planes, I'm going to shade it just a little bit. Alright, so now that you have this understanding here, you can then translate it over to your pelvis block. Here's what I really want you to remember. If you don't take away anything else from this video, this would be the key takeaway. I don't want you to copy Bridgman's lines. I want you to copy his thinking. I want you to ask yourself, where are these three major masses? What direction are they facing? Is the body compressing? Is it stretching? You know, where is the weight in this pose? That's the real lesson here. That is the main takeaway. If you only copy his drawings, you'll definitely get better at copying Bridgman. But if you understand why he constructed these things and how he put them and the way that he put them, you'll get better at drawing people. So there's a little bit of homework for you. I want you to draw 10 figures. You can do more if you like, but no less. Draw 10 figures, start off with the three major masses, add the anatomy to them, don't forget your blocks. Use your shapes, guys. Use your shapes. That is the Bridgman way, and I venture to say that is my way as well. Simple shapes are the easiest way to get a better understanding of human anatomy. And you can add muscles later, but for the most part, turn everything into blocks, turn everything into wedges, and you put those together to create a body. Now, this is only the foundation. We're going to have a whole series on how to use Bridgman's methods to draw people. In the next video, we're going to do how to draw heads. I think that'll be a good place to level up here. We're going to take these simple shapes and use them to create heads and faces and facial structures, but that'll be in the next video. So until then, I'll see you guys. Peace.